Hello, everybody. It's Rahan here from lowcodera, and I'm joined by my usual co-pilot, Leo. Hello.
Hello, Rahan. Hello,
How are you?
France.
And we're also joined today by a very special guest, Frans. Hello,
Thank you.
Frans.
Thank you.
Where are you?
Special guests.
Yeah, indeed. Where are you based? Tell our viewers.
I'm a VIP
You are
this day. This
absolutely.
day.
You
Thank you.
certainly are. You certainly are. Why don't you?
I'm from Holland,
You're from Holland. Fantastic.
Netherlands.
Netherlands. I never know with what's preferred. Do you prefer to be referenced as Netherlands or from Holland? What's the real story there?
Well, no, it's not, I think some people have directly an issue about Holland, Amsterdam, but I think the Netherlands is all very known, very well known. I think.
Yeah, and it reminds me. I've got a story. A half etched memory in my mind. When I went to New York once, a few years ago, I went on one of those the tours that you get, the official tour guides, and he was mentioning some historical reference about the formation of New York and how the Netherlands or Holland were involved in that. Do you know about this, Frans? I don't
No,
remember. I don't remember the whole story he was telling me. I was hoping you could fill me in, but
no.
okay. Leo, any?
Maybe if you maybe if you mention an highlight of that story, but
I can't remember. All I remember is that there's some historical reference to how, I don't know if it was the whole of the USA or if it was just New York specific, but how there was some historical significance about Netherlands and how New York became New York, or the USA came from those roots. So anyway, Leo, maybe we can do some homework. We can all do some homework on that one to find out
yeah,
if I'm just
for the
making this up
Yeah,
completely, or if there's actually some
there's a
some
little
for the
bit
next
to it.
time.
some truth to this. Anyway, I'll shut up now, and
Are we going to talk about software, Rahan?
I why would we talk about software when there's more interesting things to talk about? No, I'll let you introduce yourself to our viewers. Go on, Franz, take it away. Tell us who you are.
Short. Okay. Well, I was always working in sales um, from the beginning of after school. First time in a shop, later in the coffee machines, and I sell a lot of things in the world. But I had just one hobby, was building apps in Access, and later I have a hobby building websites in WordPress. And after a lot of years, I decided to make work of my hobby and to stop sales and selling, and now I am a citizen developer of Power Apps. Started in 2018. First, my business plan was to sell Access web apps, but as you know, Microsoft pulled the plug out of Access web apps, and
Yeah.
later I started to um, practicing Power Apps, Power Platform. So that's me, from sales and a lot of function in sales to citizen developer. And now I have my company 365 Cloud House, and only not building websites in WordPress anymore, only the building of Power Apps solutions.
It's the place to be, right? Power Apps. Leo, the interesting point there around Access Web Apps. Did you ever have any exposure to that technology on SharePoint?
No, actually not. I worked a few times with Access, but not really with web apps.
Yeah, it was. there was a while where a lot of people were looking at that actually, because it was, an attempt access always on people's desktops running, and this was a way of kind of a hybrid between kind of the new world and the old world almost, and trying to get it to work. But
Yes, I was very exciting about Access Web Apps. It was very easy to learn. It was a low-code technology, of course. It was very simple to build a database, very simple to build forms. In a very short time, you can make an app in SharePoint.
Yes.
On top of SharePoint, on top of Office 365. So we developers of AWAS, as they call it, we were very disappointed about Microsoft about that. But well, the tears are going away now. we have Power.
Yeah, I remember we haven't connected so long ago, and I remember the first time you spoke to me, you mentioned how angry you were.
I had only Access Web Apps as businessplan, so the only tool.
Yeah, Frans was raging for a while there, but thankfully, Power Apps came up.
It cost me a lot of Scottish whiskey to get over it.
Right. So yeah, I think like a lot of people, I think SharePoint people, SharePoint's massive platform, and you had people coming at it from the access side, and then you had people building stuff using InfoPath, which was the other big low-code form technology, right? And equally, people were very uncertain of what the future was, as Microsoft weren't really at that stage. I don't even think they had a clear vision or an idea. And I think the kind of true way forward has only recently emerged with the Power Platform, Power Apps, and as it's become this unified Power Platform, because of course it wasn't always the Power Platform. I think the Power Platform, it came together nicely when the different bits got brought together. That's Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI, of course. And now everyone's very confident about the future, and I don't think you will need to invest so much in that Scottish whiskey moving forward. I think we see a bright future. Right. So I mentioned just a few seconds ago, we haven't known each other for too long, but how did you come across lowcodera, Frans? How did we come to connect?
Well, first of all, I was every day I'm trying to learn new things in Power Apps, and I saw a lot. I have seen and saw a lot of videos from other developers in the world. But I always trying to make my apps user-friendly, more user-friendly, and so every day I look into the world. What are all other developers doing? What are they building to get my apps better and more interesting? And it's funny that I was investigating some time, more than 1 day, about drag and drop functions in Power Apps. I did some research about Power Apps drag and drop functions, and I asked several other developers, can you build that, and how does it work? But nobody can, and I was very disappointment about that. But that cost me not of any whiskey at all. But
there's a new criteria for how stressful something is. It's about how much whiskey does it cost?
2 bottles, 3 bottles.
I love it.
So I drag the function drop.
Yes.
I drag the function drop. But then I saw one of your videos about components, and I also has some other things I was investigating Power Apps. So I saw your videos about the low-code area, low-code components with the board, and I thought, wow, this is very interesting.
Yeah. And I remember us connecting for the first time not so long ago, and I was super excited, right? And I was talking to you, Leo, about this as well, because we almost found a perfect opportunity to almost have this case study with Frans, where he's got an existing app, which he's going to tell us about in a second, no doubt, and opportunities to really transform it, right? And Frans, this is where we began and have continued our discussion, right? You've got this app, it's called Floris, right? So
Yes.
and this is very much about us documenting our journey of the transformation of this Floris app, which you've developed, and it's an amazing app. And we're collaborating to see how we can transform it using lowcodera. And we've partnered up. And today you're going to start telling us the story of the transformation of Floris. What is Floris, Frans? Tell our viewers.
Well, at the beginning of Power Apps, I think everyone thought, well, it's a very simple app that you can nothing do with it. It's very simple. But so I try to prove that Power Apps is a very strong and capable software to build very sophisticated apps. So I started to try a CRM solution in Power Apps with a lot of function, tickets, agenda, calendar, order system, building proposals, storing your inventories. No, that's not the right word, but so I started to build. So I started to build a CRM solution, and still working on that and try to improve it. And there's a lot of work in that solution, and it's they're working. A couple of companies are working with this app, and well, every day I try to improve that software. So Floris is a CRM solution, but I didn't call it a CRM solution. I call it customer engagement, because it's all about customer engagement today. Everyone in an organization must work to customer engagement. If it's services, or if it's sales, if it's administration, or is it call center, or everybody must work on customer engagement, and that's the real goal of Floris.
Great. Put the customer at the heart of the experience. That's what everyone is saying these days, and it makes perfect sense. Right. So without further ado, sorry.
And that's difficult for companies to get that goal.
100%. Yeah, easier said than done for sure. But Floris makes it one step closer for that dream to turn into a reality, right? And without further ado, I think what would be good for our viewers, Frans, is if we get you to maybe share your screen and just talk us through what Floris is. And in particular, I think we can focus on where the lowcodera partnership is already starting to add some value to your app. So I'll let you tell the story in whatever way you want. So over to you.
Thank you. It's always nice to have the opportunity to tell something about Floris. Well, this is the startup screen, and there of Floris, and there you have the lists of my calendar, my tickets, my orders, and well, for now we have only the galleries in Power Apps to show lists of tickets and orders. There is no other way to show a list of a screen of several records. Of course, you can make some changes in your galleries and build cards. That's possible. So that's not you can do a lot of things with galleries.
Yes.
But they are very static. From a card, from a record, you can open another screen and change some issues about the record. But there's you can do nothing else than show records and open records. That's it for galleries.
Yeah.
Of course, we can live without galleries. For orders, tickets, or anything else to select records and to get the information on the screen you want.
Yeah.
Well, when I saw the component from lowcodera, I saw immediately that showing the records in another way and showing the records in a better view, that the board was a better solution for showing records and manipulate the data and make some changes of the records.
Yeah.
So we have the lists of tickets right here. And of course, we can do some search functions on that list and sort functions. It's in Dutch, but it's about
yeah, as we say here, it's double Dutch for me.
double Dutch. Yeah.
So,
of course, you can search and sort the gallery items in Power Apps, and you can show a lot of functions over here. We have the images for the users and bars for showing expired date and something like that. So we built one of your components into this app, and from this list we can select records and make changes to the data. And now we have this because one of the problems was what is the status about these tickets, which are pending, which are closed, which are drowning.
funny word, drowning for us.
Drowning, yes.
Yeah, just for our viewers who are not familiar with that expression, they may think it's something to do with swimming or falling off into the sea.
It is. But we don't swim. We drowning. We are going to die. Well,
yeah. So
I use this word for several things within Floris. Sales leads, for instance, I have built a solution in Floris for better understanding sales leads. In Floris, one of the main things is to look better at your sales leads, to get better results from your marketing budget. So I started the word drowning. Drowning are the tickets that nobody looks for. So if it's a ticket is not assigned, then it's drowning. It will be dead.
yes.
There's no one who's spending some time on it. So the customer is waiting and waiting and waiting, but nobody is solving the question or problem. That's the reason why I call it drowning. It's an alert meaning.
Yeah. No,
Makes
very
sense.
catchy. I like it. I think I might incorporate it in some of my own work, so it might actually get recognized.
Yeah, we also use this item, this word for sales leads. If sales leads not being followed up, then they are drowning. There's no sales if you don't get the right attention to your sales leads. So that was that kind of things in the list are very difficult to show. The list is about sorting about date, and you see sorting about expired, sorting about user, but it's very difficult to give all the information in the list. That's difficult. And now we have with this function, we have a very smart overview about tickets who must have the attention from the supervisor or the user or something like that.
Yeah, so I can see those cards there laid out into their different lanes, and yeah, you get a lot more for the user to comprehend the information. It's a lot more nicer, isn't it, to look at it in these different boards. I like it.
Okay, from the cards you can easily open a ticket, and you can change the status from drowning to pending. That's what we usually do from a gallery. But of course, now we can drag and drop the card from drowning to pending. Then the ticket will open, and I can set status from drowning supervisor to user, save it, and then from now on this ticket will be on the list of Frans Kuylenburg, and he is responsible for solving that problem. You see how fast we can open a ticket, change status, and close, delete, and then we come back to our
it's
board.
the small things in life, isn't it? I mean, people may not see that as like a significant benefit, but if this was a job all day long, just managing these tickets, right, and you having to just manage it through a list view and many clicks and selecting a drop down and hitting OK and things like that, this is saving a lot of time, I imagine, and also visually it's a lot easier to comprehend the information. I'm sure you're going to talk about some of these benefits later as well, but I think it's quite powerful, just as you demoed it there. Just immediately the benefits clear. If having worked in ticketing systems as well previously, it's just a lot nicer with that drag and drop, right?
Yeah, and if an engineer working in the field outside the door and he has solved a problem on his tablet or notebook, he can drag and drop the ticket to solved. He can give his comment on the ticket. The status will be automatically closed. I didn't build it, but of course you can change
today's date.
When you set the status will be automatic. We can set the data on now. So I must build that, but that is in Power App's a piece of cake. So it's very also because we work in the cloud with Power Apps, it's very easy for users all over the country working on tablets or notebooks to change the status. It's a very friendly user interface, and because in the field companies has to do with people who doesn't study IT. They are engineers. They know about to solve a problem with a machine, but not very handy. Also, they so often are not very handy with computers and systems. So make it easy for users to handling data, and that's very important.
Yeah, and Leo, I'll bring you in at this point as well, because this has been blended in very nicely with the wider Floris app, right? And that means this component is very customizable to be able to blend in so nicely with the rest of Frans's app here, right?
It looks if it was born in Floris.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
I think I think the swinging board is one of our components that you can custom in several ways, and it can fit different use cases. So for this use case specifically, we decide to create just a simple board with 3 columns. But of course, there are a lot of more features that we can explore here. We could have also rows, and there are other features that we can also explore that we didn't use here. For instance, you can have right-click actions and show a toolbar for the user, and so on and so forth. So there's many things that you can add up here. The type of the cards you could also change. If you don't want this type of card, we have like stick notes, we have image. So there's a lot of possibilities of what you can do with this component specifically.
yeah, and in this case, Frans already had a brand, and we were able to, I guess he was able to easily reflect that inside of this screen. So color-wise, branding-wise, it's all flexible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Frans told me he wired this thing with some variables. So if he's going to deploy this in another client, he can adopt easily the colors of the brain just by changing these variables, right, Frans?
Right, and very interesting was I have in the galleries we have often we have the possibility to sort and to select and to the gallery records, to
Yes.
sort for the user and to sort for a product.
Yep.
And this I have built in all the galleries. Simply you have to copy and paste this handmade search and filter function, but it worked very nice on the component. So we can just copy and paste the filter function to the component, and it works as well for the records in the board of this component.
Great. So we're able to interact and dynamically filter the cards as well, and
Yes.
I guess that showcases how you add even more interaction to the experience.
So you can filter very simple maintenance and services. I can have filter the maintenance only that's assigned to me. It's not. Oh, I don't have drowning issues. That's
you're
nice.
You're on top of it. What can we say? You're on fire today.
And good. That's the main purpose for tickets. I'm on top of it.
Exactly. No, I was joking, but it's a very important point. Yeah, absolutely. It's the main thing.
Yeah. And the next step I'm going to do is to make a fourth column for tickets who are too long in the pending status.
Interesting. Yes. And yeah, that would be awesome. And again, you can use different design mechanisms to display that. You could change the color of the background of the color, make it red, and use icons. So there's many different options available for you there to make the point to your users. Fantastic. Right.
So I have a lot of functions now in the ticket system that makes it better.
Yeah. And of course, this was just our starting point. How long did this take for you to turn this around from when we first spoke? Did it take a long time to do this?
No. That's the power. Also, no. We're talking about minutes, an hour. We have several points. So of course the installation, but if the component is in the app and you want to change, for instance, the filter function. It was in a question of minutes to copy and paste the filtering system to this component.
Yeah, 100%. Which leads me on to my nicely onto my next section, or as we move towards the closing line of this, because I'm conscious of time. As you were presenting this, I mean, the benefits, some of them were very clear to me as you were presenting it for the first time to me. But I'm just wondering if you could summarize for our viewers kind of what in your experience are some of the benefits which you've achieved from introducing these components into your app. What would you say to users or people watching today?
Yeah, well, I think the main problem of I think of a lot of software, but for CRM and tickets and all those stuff, is to look for the data, the actuality of the data. These systems, CRM solutions, are stand or falling about the currency of data. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yes.
But I think that you understand what I mean.
Yeah. Having timely, accurate data inside of the system is very important. Yeah.
So access to data is very important to, I think, every software system, of course. But so now you can very fast. You have access to data. You can very fast manipulate the data, and I think that's very powerful issue. And of course, a better overview of the items, they need attention. And the items, if they need attention in the lists, well, it's sometimes very difficult because if there is an item in this list with a high priority, because it's a very important issue. Well, you have this list can be very long, and it's sorted by data. So what I say a couple of minutes ago, that I think that's a very nice new feature, is to have a fourth column for ticket issues who are pending more than 30 days, for instance. So you have very nice overviews of the data and the records in the ticketing systems, that you can make better decisions about which tickets must I get attention now, must I solve in the time we have.
Yes,
and that's and of course that's very important. Do more things with little time. That's, I think, on every call center or ticket solving department. I think that's a very, very important issue.
Every second counts, right? So it's important. Yeah.
Better overviews. Change data very easy. I think that's too very. But I think if you ask me this in a couple of weeks, I can give a much better answer to this.
Yes. No, I think improved visibility, transparency of information, it being able to be entered faster, it's more digestible. You've improved the user experience, which means people are more likely to use it for longer and get more out of it. But I'm also wondering if there's another category of benefits. So we talked about the end user benefits, but as you mentioned, you are an app maker and you sell software as what you do for a business. And by working with these components, I'm just wondering if there's some benefits that you get from being an app maker.
Well, yes, of course, there are a lot of citizen developers, and there are a lot of developers who are selling apps for money. So So
Yes.
of course, I'm always must look at how can I improve my apps, so make it better and for the money, because we ask money for Floris, and
Mhm.
Yes.
customers are going to compare the apps. But as a developer, well, I think the quality of the app will a lot better, will improve with these components.
Yes. Yes, for sure. For sure. And you mentioned the commercial aspect to selling the software as well. And lowcodera, we know from our previous discussions, offers a very subtle or not so common benefit, which was it wasn't obvious at first what this benefit was, because as you scale your distribution, you want to have better licensing control, right, of your solution. And lowcodera has an inbuilt licensing mechanism, which once you use the components, that licensing mechanism also becomes part of your app, right? So
Yeah.
maybe just expand on that a little bit more in terms of the benefit that that could offer you.
Yeah, well, what I was worrying about, the we now use for our apps a data source in our own environment. So protecting our apps is a very important issue. Yeah, we try to sell the apps in a SaaS solution. So if you build an app for every hour an invoice, then well, okay, then you have the money for your products. But we want to sell these solutions about SaaS or solution. So protecting our app was a very important issue. And with data first, for instance, we don't have the protection of our data source anymore. If we built an app on SharePoint lists, for instance, it's very easy for a client to get the app and yeah, use it and not paying for it. So the protection with the components is very easy for me now. And selling as a SaaS solution, Power Apps as a SaaS solution, and protection are two very important things.
Amazing. Right. So to close out this focus on Floris, or our first part of this series, a question for you both, really. What's next? Because this is just presumably one part of many things we could do to transform the app. So Leo, I'll let you answer first too, because you've had a look at the app, and I'm wondering if you've got any ideas for how we can further enhance it.
Yeah, Franz showed me a few ideas already, but you know that there's many simple things that we can do here that can improve a lot the UI of the app. So we have this category of components focused on UI, and for instance, one of our main components is the navigation bar. So I see Franz already has his own navigation bar there, but we're talking about an improved one where you can have uh, expensible expensible features, and you can have an, items with sub items and so on and so forth. So there's a few more things that you can do with this navigation bar, and other things like icons, buttons, and everything that goes with UI. But also there's a lot of space for data visualization as well. We have several components that can bring a lot of intelligence to the app and then make it more data driven. So we were talking before how important it is to have visibility of the data and show the right information for the right people in the company. And I see there's a lot of room of opportunity to work with that as well.
I'm really fascinated to see how we adapt and evolve this app over the coming weeks, and hopefully we can share that story with our users. Frans, did you want to add anything to that? Any ideas, thoughts you have over the next steps?
No, I think that was amazing me. I did not do much with components till now in Power Apps, in Floris, in my Floris. Because I thought it was difficult to implement the component, to understand what it does, to embed it in my software, to make it look and feel like the user interface Floris. So I was amazed by the very quick embedding implementation of the component, and it fits perfect in my branding app, because I spent a lot of time branding my app, and I do a lot of thinking about branding my app, and how can I make my app not look like Power Apps. I think for a lot of developers that's an issue, because I think the normal interface of Power Apps, I think everybody thinks, well, it's a very, very simple app. You can do not a lot of it. But so making a very nice interface is very important to give Power Apps, Floris, the customers the feeling this is a grown-up app. This is an application. This is okay. We call it app, but it is an application, and we can solve a lot of difficult problems when in our process. So, but I was very amazed about because I am a citizen developer, and I don't know how to write code in VBA or in every difficult languages. Of course, we have the backup of partners who can help if we have difficulties with code, but the simplicity of embedding the app, the component, and make it look and feel like Floris, that amazed me. It was very easy.
Fantastic. Well, I think we should close on that note, and I think we should definitely make a commitment to continuing with this series. I'd love to see where we get to in a few weeks' time as we integrate some of those additional components, and maybe we can come back and do another episode where we show where we've got to at that stage, because I'm sure there'll be a lot more to showcase. So great work, guys, and Frans, thank you so much for coming online today and sharing your experience so far. It's amazing what you're doing with Floris. We wish you all the best of luck with continuing to scale your software practice, and really taking over Holland, Netherlands, whatever you prefer. And I hope it goes down a storm. Leo, anything else to add? If not, we'll close out there.
Yeah, just say thanks to Frans to join us here. And I think there's so much potential in this application to grow and explore a lot of possibilities of what we can do with components to make the UI more interesting and add benefits with data-driven intelligence on the app. So I'm looking forward to it, Rahan.
Yes, and of course, anyone watching this later or right now, feel free to get in touch if you want to transform your app in a similar way, have questions over what the possibilities are for you. We'd love to have a conversation with you, and why not? We'd love to have you on the show next time. We're looking for more and more guests to come on, so feel free to get in touch with us. But that's all from us today. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you next time. See you later. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.